What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to The Nerdy Narrative, a little channel I created in order to have a place to come and talk about all of the things that I read. And Brad Proctor tagged me in this one, gosh, probably a year ago, and it's called the Book Reviewer Tag. It was originally created by the channel Gemma Read a Book Gem, which I will have her and her version of the tag linked below, as well as Brad's. But before I talk about the book reviewer tag and its prompts, which I'm going to assume are about reviewing books. But before I talk about reviewing books, why do I review books? Because I read books. Why do I read? All of that comes back to, why do I read? Me personally, I read for enjoyment. Now, when I started reading as a kid, it was pure escapism. Actually, from the time I was a child up into my early to mid 30s, reading was an escape. Absolutely. I did not have a good life. I hated it for the most part. I did not want to be in it. I didn't want to be out of it, but I did not want to be present if I didn't have to. And how I managed that was reading. You see all these books back here? All of them? All the ones you can't even see that go down to the floor and that are stacked in a book cart, stacked on the floor, downstairs. All of those books, to you, may be books. To me, they are worlds. They are other worlds that I got to take a part in, live in. I got attached. These characters are family to me. A lot of these are books I've had for years. I've reread many, many times. They got me through a life I didn't want to be a part of, because if I wasn't reading, then I would daydream about what they were doing or what may be coming next. It started out as escapism, and now it's strictly for enjoyment. I am not a professional reviewer. I have zero credentials, zero training. I read for enjoyment. I don't do any type of literary analysis. That is not where my interests lie. I do not read a book thinking, what is this author's motivations? What are the themes? Oh, they're talking about this. Well, what could be the symbolism behind that? That's not me. I read strictly for enjoyment. And if the author is able to entertain me, make me laugh, make me love, make me cry, they've done their job as far as I'm concerned. And I'm very easy to please. I generally, almost always, love everything I read. I have no requirements as far as their prose has to be on this level. They have to have this as far as structure. I have to have an ending. My questions must be addressed. I don't have any of that. I am one, I go where the story goes. I go where the author leads me. I love to read all genres except for erotic stuff. I'm just not into that. My suspension of belief does not cover the things that happen in erotic stories. Like, no. So, not interested. So now that you know why I read, let's talk about the prompts for the book reviewer tag. So it looks like we've got 3 different sections of questions, and the first one is making reviews. Question number 1, where do you post your book reviews outside of Booktube? Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Reddit, Instagram, Twitter. I think that's it. I do different versions of reviews for a lot of the places. And then question number 2 under making reviews is, what is your star rating system? I freaking hate the star rating system and think it should be done away with. I rate based off of emotion. And does it check all of my boxes? Depending on the genre, I have different things that I like to look at. And if the author meets all of those and makes me happy, I love the book. So I don't like to use a star rating. I only do it in places where I am forced to, such as Goodreads and Amazon. For the most part, I loved it. I liked it. It was okay. Bleh. That's it. Question number 3 under making reviews is, convince me to read a favorite book of yours in no more than 5 words. Look at this freaking cover. Let's see. The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. 5 words. Okay. Magic. Politics. Street gangs. War. Cons. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. You should definitely read that book, guys. Question number 4 under making reviews. Which book was the hardest to review and why? Man, I feel that way about most books. Actually, it would be easier to just say, what was the easiest book I reviewed? Is that a question? I don't see one. And that was A Plague of Giants by Kevin Hearn. That was the easiest review I have ever filmed in my life. I literally sat down in front of the camera, hit record, talked for however many minutes, and there was almost 0 editing required. It was so easy. But for the most part, it's difficult because I am always scared to death. I am not going to properly convey my feelings about a book, and words are very difficult, and that's why I love doing YouTube with the video aspect, because I feel that my words don't always come out the way that I want them to, but my passion, my body language, my expression, I feel that gets across how I feel about a book better than my words do, if that makes any sense. It's so hard. Guys, reviewing a book is so hard, especially when you love that book and you want everybody to read it. You're trying to convey that without spoiling the book, and so many different people have different opinions of what a spoiler is, and you're just trying to be careful while getting enough information out there to have people pick up the book or to be able to judge for themselves if it's one they might want to read. Question number 5. Are there any books you won't review or give a star rating to out of principle? Those would be books that I feel were written with the purpose of pure, unadulterated shock value and or to piss a group of people off. All right, so the next section of questions are listed under the heading Viewing Reviews. Number 6, a book you really want to read has terrible reviews. Do you still read it? Yep. There must have been something somewhere I heard or saw or read about that book that drew my interest. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm a very good judge of what I am going to like. You know, and it doesn't mean I have to like every aspect of the story. For me, being a character-driven reader, if I have at least one character that I love or that I love to hate, I'm generally going to be happy unless the story is just falling apart. Because I have started out reading a book that it was just very well put together and then kind of fell apart midway through, which kind of drew me out of it and I didn't understand. But I could see the potential in the author. As long as I have something that keeps me interested, I'm usually going to have a good time and enjoy what I'm reading. Question number 7. Where do you view book reviews outside of Booktube, and what is your preferred format? Short, long, video, print. I would say the most places I'll look are going to be Goodreads and Amazon. And I do prefer short reviews. The thing that I've learned about when I see somebody who has written a long review is they typically give me more information than what I want. Now, I will sometimes still read those, but I usually only read the first paragraph, which is usually where the emotion is expressed. You know, it was the perfect follow-up book in the series. Or I read the debut novel by this author and I was worried about how their sophomore book would turn out, and that fear turned out to be unfounded because this book was great. They usually start off with their emotions first, and that's what I'm looking for in a review. Question number 8 under viewing reviews. At what point do you view reviews of a book you are reading? Before, during, or after? And do you seek out reviews similar to your own or opposing? For me, typically it is before, during, and after. Somewhere I'm going to hear about this book and that's why I am reading it. I either saw it mentioned on a Booktube or I saw it advertised somewhere in a review. That's how a book ends up on my radar. Now, by the time I read the book, I have usually plumb forgotten what I read, saw, heard, which is fantastic because I do really enjoy going in blind. I have stopped watching reviews for books I haven't finished. If I'm in the middle of reading a book and one of my friends posts a review, I will save that review to my watch later because I love watching reviews after I've read the book to see if we agree, see if they picked something out of it that I didn't. I really enjoy that because sometimes someone has experienced something in their life that will stand out to them differently in a book that they pick up on that I don't, that I really enjoy getting that side of it. It just helps me get a more rounded opinion of the book and how I feel, and it just makes a more complete picture of it for me. And as far as seeking out reviews similar to my own or opposing, I don't mind watching a negative review. There are so many times that I have actually picked up a book because of a negative review. What someone else doesn't like might be something that I love. Now, I do not watch rants of books that I love. When I open up my YouTube feed and I'm scrolling through looking at video titles and thumbnails and I see somebody has reviewed a book that I loved, it was a 5-star read for me, and they have 1-star rant, I don't watch it because I know I'm not going to agree, and because to me reading is subjective to the person, I know there's a huge possibility if I watch that video I'm going to get pissed off or my feelings are going to get hurt. So I just avoid the situation entirely by respecting their opinion, even though I don't agree with it, and I just don't watch the video, and then I just go on with my life. It's that easy. So the last 2 prompts are under the title, Stand Out from the Crowd. Which book have you read with the lowest rating on Goodreads that you loved, and which book have you read with the highest ratings on Goodreads that you hated? There is really no book that I have hated other than The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks. As far as the one I read with the lowest rating that I loved, I don't look at that. I really don't, because that changes on a daily basis. I might have read an arc for a book that has 2 reviews and somebody rated it 1 star and I rated it 5 star, and so that's going to be skewed. So on those 2 questions, I'm not worried about those. And since I am trashing the last 2 questions, that brings us to the end of the book reviewer tag. What are your thoughts here? How do you feel about reviewing? Like, if you write reviews, how do you do your reviews? Do you like the star rating? Do you prefer an emotional base? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you found some enjoyment in it. I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your day and take care.